Another day, another head modification video. This time, as you can probably see, the head surface looks pretty mint. I've had it skimmed. Literally 50 quid and less than an hour later, and it was done. I literally told him to skim as much off to get rid of that little nick. It was, I think it was there, I can't remember now, somewhere. But just remove as much as that. I didn't care how much because the compression was already like mid-sevens anyway. And go from there. So yeah, the head surface is pretty mint now, but of course when you take off some of the head surface, it's going to remove some of the chamber too. So I had a feeling the chambers wouldn't quite be matching as I wanted them, but in fact it's probably suited me better. Tiny little bit there, tiny little bit there on this one, nothing really at the bottom, tiniest bit there, might not even bother. Slightly more there. This one's got a bit at the top, and it's actually got a fair bit at the bottom on this one, and that's it. So I'm gonna basically even it out and keep checking with this, and I basically tallied this up with using the I put it down the bore to check this, so I know this is spot on for the bore. So yeah, it's just a case now of getting it nailed and job done. I mean, looking at this is already way fucking everywhere. It's already big enough, bigger than the chamber by considerable amount in certain areas. So it's literally just a case of making them rounder and fucking mission complete. Right, here's where we are now. The heads are once again cleaned up. They're probably matching better than ever now actually, and yeah, they were fine anyway. They matched fine, but you could tell they weren't quite the same. Now they're really similar, so I'm fucking happy. As suspected, obviously, because I've had the head skimmed, the chambers are a little bit smaller. I've literally just finished that one. But not much. They're now 54.5 cc. I think before they were what, 55.5, 56.5? Yeah, 54.5 cc now. So compression is not going to be much different to before. Probably more like slightly high sevens now. But yeah, 54.5 cc now, and that's plenty. You know, it's fine for what I want. I wanted quite low because I want to run a shitload of boost. I mean, I want to run 2 bar plus safely. So yeah, that's all done, and I'm happy with that. So it's time to, well, I guess clean up the valves and get the fucking thing back together. Next job is to clean the valves, and I know this engine's done about 200 million miles, but fuck me, these exhaust valves, look at that. The crust on that is terrible. The inlet valves are fine, but the exhaust valves are terrible. The inlet valves are clean on the back and very little on the top. It's just, you know, 2 seconds and they're all good. But Christ, these exhaust valves are appalling. The best thing I found to clean them up is a stiff wire brush on an angle grinder. It's soft enough to not scratch or affect valves in any way, because to be fair, valves are hard as fuck, but tough enough that it scrapes all this shit off easy. I've used like brass wire wheels and stuff as well to try them, but they will do it, but it takes a lot longer because this shit is it's like stone. It is, I mean, look, and it's thick as well. So yeah, I'm going to quickly get this off this one. I'll film it just to show you. Look at that already. Probably taken about fucking, 20 grams of weight off the bastard thing. There's so much shit on it. There's still a little bit more to clean off. Yeah, generally then this bit, which is where it touches the valve seat is generally pretty clean, because obviously it's constantly hitting the valve seat, so shit don't get to build up on there much, if at all. This has actually got a bit of build up, more than I've fucking any of the other ones so far, but I quickly get rid of that. But generally 10 times better already. All I do, used valves, but perfectly good used valves, job done. I'm currently reassembling the head, putting all the valves back in, and while it might look like a difficult thing for a lot of people if you've never done it, it really is bloody easy. All you really need to do is, well, I'll show you. First up, you need to put the spring seats back in. They might just have stayed in if you've took the head off and it's an old head, because they're often just stuck in with old oil and shit. But they can come out and they look very similar to, you know, not being there. So if they fall out, you might not notice. So pay attention and check they're still in there. I'm using this Cleveite bearing guard to just keep everything in and keep everything lubed up. As much as it's not that important to keep it lubed up, it's best because it keeps things a bit sticky, which stops them falling out so easy. So I'm putting the bearing guard over everything. So what we do is slide the valve in like that, and because of the sticky bearing guard, it's staying in place. Then valve spring, again I'll just put a little bit. Then the valve retainer, the bearing guard, chuck it on there. Then the magic valve spring compressor, again dead easy. Sit it on the valve underneath, do that. Then you're compressing the valve spring. And basically you just need to bring it down enough to get the valve collets on. So that's about right. The valve collets have got the little notches, and they go obviously small side in. There's no magic trick to this that I know of, it's just a bit of fiddling. A little pick like this is a good shout, just to help wangle it in place. It's not as tricky as it looks, because as soon as they get into the grooves, it's, you know, they sit themselves in there. The second one, you can often just get roughly in the right place. There you go, and it's sat there straight away, dead easy. Then undo the valve spring compressor. And that is the valve held in place. Now I need to put a bit more goop on the lifter. Obviously I've been cleaning this, so it's most of the oil's missing, and when you start it up it's not going to have the best lubricant, so you may as well be safe than sorry. There you go, it was a bit sticky. It's fine now, it's in there. Move smooth. And that's it, done. Time to put the cam and everything back in, which is dead easy. I hoped by the time I was filming this car would be back together. Unfortunately, I had a fucking nightmare when I was putting the head back together. Putting the head back together is actually really easy, apart from the fact that right at the end, just before it was, you know, I put the cam in and everything, then I thought, hang on, I'm missing something here. And I'd fucking forgot to put the valve stem oil seals on. They're only on the inlet valves, but regardless, it'll all have to come back apart to do that. And to make it worse, I couldn't get the valve stem oil seals on at all. I don't know if they're the wrong ones or not, because I mean, they usually just push on all right, but these fuckers was not, and they wouldn't go on even using a trick with 11mm socket. They wasn't having it. It was the spring around the main body just refused to stretch over the valve stem. In the end, after, I don't even know, a couple hours of fighting with it, I knackered one of them up, so I'm going to need to order some more anyway. I mean, they're pennies, but regardless, I can't finish the car. So yeah, there's another few days wait, because it was the very start of the weekend when that happened too. So yeah, they won't even be shipped till after the weekend. So yeah, there's going to be a bit of a delay once again, but it gives me time to get on with everything else. This is the engine. Get a better light. Yeah, there you go. It's in seemingly really good condition, to be fair. Very thick walls between the bores as well, as you can see. But oddly, like on quite a few engines actually, this one cylinder is closer to the others. You know, 1 and 2 is closer than 2 and 3 and 3 and 4. I don't know why they do that on engines. It's quite common on some, well, fair few engines of various manufacturers. I never look why it happens, so I can't tell you, because I don't really care, because there's nothing you can fucking do about it. But yeah, but overall they're really good condition. The balls are really good. Yeah, happy days. I'm perfectly happy with this, and they certainly look like they can take some punishment. Another thing that's happened is finally I can see the block is red. These are called Volvo red blocks because the blocks are painted red from the factory. But mine has been so fucking disgusting with oil and just built up shit over the years that genuinely I've never even been able to see it's red. I wanted to actually work out what the hell's going on under here, because it was so gungy. You couldn't really have a good idea of even what was fitted. I've cleaned it up, and it's not bad now. And I realise, you know, things are actually generally not too bad. I have changed quite a few bits of pipe work though. Nothing really you can see that would mean anything to you. But originally it had quite a few pipes blanked off due to not having water cooling for the turbo, and a few other various little changes that had been done before my ownership. And I'm perfectly happy with all of them. But they were generally done by just, you know, blanking off the hose and leaving all the hose there. So the engine bay was full of like wiggly fucking basically dead end hoses, and it made it quite cluttered and hard to see what's going on. I wasn't, you know, 1000% sure for some things. So I've spent a bit of time removing and blanking off things, like pretty much blanking them off at the source, so at the engine or at whatever radiator pipe it was happening. And now, well, it's quite simple and neat there. So yeah, I'm fairly happy with that. Still got to run the coolant lines to the new heater in the car, the heater box, but I don't like the original, the way the lines were ran anyway from the factory, so it gives me a chance to change that as well. Another little thing I've done, and you probably, well, it's not easy to see. In here originally, I'll see if I've got a picture I can show you, but it was fucking appalling. Basically what they'd done, they built a custom downpipe for this car, obviously, and they'd done, well, do you want to call it pie cuts? I don't know. It's not massively neat, but it was DIY and perfectly okay. But when they'd cut it, they'd not got rid of all the sharp edges. So in there was like centimetre tall plus sort of sticking up bits, which made the diameter in areas sort of, well, probably less than 2 inches. They were fucking massive. But it was real thin stuff, but terrible for flow. And seeing as straight out the back of the turbo is the most important part for flow, it wasn't good. So I just literally got the electric die grinder out and stuck it in there and ran it around a few times. Well, it's just a homemade downpipe, so it's not going to be super pretty. There's no massive fucking stalactites of metal hanging down like there was. It now looks like half decent downpipe. Although I've seen big money downpipes worse than this. This had a couple of bits of welding wire sticking out through it, and I've seen that from some of the, well, one of the biggest brands in the UK especially, who I'm never impressed with their work, but that's another story. So yeah, that's where we are now. Looking, you know, acceptable. So now it's mostly a case of, well, needs a new cam belt for a start, because I need to fit the new water pump. The old cam belt actually was fine. When I took it off, it looks fairly fresh, but I think the tensioner was a bit shit because it was pretty fucking loose. So yeah, it's where we are now. I just want to get the thing back together. So we've got to run the pipes to the inside the car for the heater, and just wait for the head parts to turn up, and all go back together.
Several days later.
Head, inlet manifold and fuel rail are on, but these aren't the ones that's going back on the car. These are just mock-ups, because I've been basically laying out all the pipe work, especially all the new custom bits and pieces that I've done. And obviously with a spare inlet and this and that the other, it makes it a whole lot easier to mock things up, because without this and without putting the original head and inlet back on, which I didn't really want to yet, I would only be guessing where shit would fit, and it might be a bit of a nightmare. So I'll show what I've done. Down here, it's all complete now, and a whole lot tidier than before. As standard, this is all a mess of fucking coolant pipes and this, that, the other. But now it's only got one coolant pipe running front to back. I've blanked off all the ports down the back now, welded them up. Just an oil feed and return, and obviously the downpipe, and obviously the manifold and stuff when it goes on, but it's much cleaner inside here. I've even actually modified this pipe as well, because it normally has a another pipe coming off that, so I chopped it and then I added a middle bit. So yeah, around the back, that's the original holes for the heater matrix stuff, and there's a bit of a fucking awkward place there. I mean, it's in a hot position, but it's also a pain to get to, and the pipes loop around, and it just don't make much sense. So now obviously you've got a metal pipe front to rear where it's hot, all the way around the back, and then connects to here, and that's one of the factory bleed things that used to be down under where the exhaust manifold is, and then into the bulkhead there. And that one is the other heater matrix Pipework, which now goes, as it did as standard, to the head under the inlet manifold. And not only does it clear everything, but it gives a fuck's sake more room around the distributor and ignition leads, which are normally on the back there. It makes it a whole lot easier to access everything there. I'll quickly show you in the car. That's it in the car with the pipes running through the new holes in the bulkhead. This was way more work than I ever imagined originally. Various reasons. The fucking bolts were real tricky to get in the place where I needed them. But the worst thing, and while this thing's sort of well proven to work well, the design's a bit fucking rubbish, because the water pipe fittings, they sit so close to the actual main body that you can, while you can get the hose on, there's then not enough room really to put a fucking duplicate clip over it. I had to use grease and then literally force, like with ridiculous amount of force. You couldn't do it with your hand. I had to use, well, knock up various fucking strips of metal and pull with both hands to get the jubilee clips over the hoses, because they're there's just not enough room because the hose fittings are too close to the body. Done now, but it took fucking ages. It was a nightmare. At first I thought it just wasn't gonna happen, but yeah, a lot of brute force and it just about did. This side was silicone hose and that was a little bit easier. The other side I used a normal rubber hose and that was stiffer than the silicone and it was fucking nightmare. I'll show you from the other side. That's the setup from the other side, and as said, it was really awkward to get the hose clip on, but it's on now, so bollocks to it. So yeah, everything's laid out neater and simpler, which makes it easier to work on and less likely to melt or anything. So happy with that. Job done. Right, current update is I put the head back together. The whole time I had a funny feeling I'd missed something. I didn't know if I was being paranoid or what. And I just finished off bolting the cam caps back down. And then remembered I'd not put the valve stem oil seals on the inlet valves. And then just to make it much more of a ball ache, I couldn't for love nor money get the valve stem oil seals to sit on the valve stems at all. Just wasn't having it. I googled it and used every fucking trick that the Volvo people claim is the way to go, using a socket and blah blah blah, and obviously removing the, you know, the top metal spring at first and all this kind of crap, but just wasn't having it. I tried for hours, wasn't working, various different ways, and in the end I knackered up one of the springs. So I had to order a new set. Well, I ordered a whole new headset because they're only like fucking 25-30 quid, I can't remember, and it gives me spares of everything else. But yeah, I ordered the lot. It turned up today. I had another go today. Didn't do it like any of the way people recommended. I did it my way, which it seemed worse on paper, but it was the only way I hadn't tried so far. So I thought, fuck it. And I did them all in like 10 minutes. So, I don't know. But anyway, head's all back together. Because this is the first Volvo head I'm done, even though it's really quite simple, I'm massively paranoid I've done something wrong. But I fucking hope not, because I'm sick of working on this car. But yeah, head is complete. But it's not on the car yet. But it will be soon. And speaking of that, let's have a look at the car. Right. This is what's going on in the engine bay so far. New water pump is installed. Head studs are in place. All that's left really is I need to put some various Jubilee clips on my redone heater matrix pipes. Do up a few bolts here, there and everywhere. And then realistically, it's time to put the head on and do the cam belt and whatever. So yeah, it's mostly putting things back together now. I'm fucking way paranoid that something's got to be wrong and leak and whatever, and I'm going to have to take it all apart again, because I really cannot be fucked to do that. But we will see, won't we? That is the end for this video, and I would hope on the next video of this car, it would be the final putting it back together and running it. This may as well be the end for this video, I think. I'm really fucking tired, and today I didn't even want to work on this car. I have literally worked on it today, not because I wanted to, but because I want to get it out the door and work on the Mercedes and the Corolla and the MX-5. Because it's already fucking 1st June or whatever the date is today. So I need to get on with it. Especially as soon as it looks like there's going to be some car shows starting in October. And I wouldn't mind getting one of these on track. So yeah, fuck it. Right then, I'm off. See you later.